Alrighty, you guys. Sorry about the mess. Just wanted to make this video for anybody who's curious about doing maintenance on these things because I have looked it up and I've been having a hard time finding any videos on the repair of the power head for the Ego. It's the Ego carbon fiber shaft string trimmer. And my problem is that I'm too rough on my tools. I have beat the fire out of this thing all year long for my business, and very, very, very great durable tool. I have to say that. It works very well. Works on a gas line. I would have to say it's on a mid to low grade professional level, not a residential, definitely. So it does work very well. Very, very durable. On a 1 to 10, I would have to give it a 9 on durability. The only reason not giving it a 10 is for the issue that I'm having with it right now. Eventually, these bump feed heads will stop retracting. I don't know exactly why. That's what I'm trying to diagnose right now. I'm assuming it's because they get a lot of debris buildup in here, which I cleared a lot of that out. And if you continue running them and you continue trying to retract the line, automatically it actually, based on experience and what I figured out, it'll actually start causing smoke to come out of here. And I'm assuming that's because of a lot of friction buildup and it's just really wearing it down. Under here, you don't want to see smoke come out of that area. Because this housing here, this is where your motor's at. It does not have a housing in the lower portion down there. All the magic happens right up here, which is why these things are so powerful and so durable. Because you're not sending power from all the way down there all the way up here to get them to work. And believe me, I have seen these things cut. They can cut their 7 or 8 foot tall grass with just regular trim line. And granted, I've hit weeds, grass, everything with these. You will burn through your trim line, but in theory, I've heard that they can take up to a higher point of trim line. Right now, I just feed mine with 0.95 Ego trim line, but I've heard they can take up to like a 1.5 or something like that. So I haven't tried that. I am curious about it because that will save a lot of money with a more durable trim line. That being said, though, you'll slowly burn through your trim line if you're trying to cut down very tall, very tough weeds and grasses. I have even cut blackberry with these, and you can get it about that thick around before these things start having problems and want to cut out during the cut. So very, very powerful trimmer. But that being said, what we're here for is to do the maintenance on the head of this, because my issue is that I could not get the line to retract on it. When I press the power feed button down here, it would just click, 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 or it would just make a electrical noise and it didn't feed the line in. I'm assuming it's because it had a massive buildup of grass layer in here. And granted, if you really have to, you can't afford it, and your warranty's expired, or the company's just saying, like, just not getting back in touch with you for reasons of COVID or whatever the big excuse is these days. That being said, that was my issue. Sometimes you just get to the point where the warranty expires and you don't want to waste your time with it. I unfortunately invested in my business and this product. Don't get me wrong, Ego's a great product. They just don't have the best customer service. As explained in my last videos, the problem is I was out on the job site when this went out, and I actually had to cut my job short because both of my trimmers actually started having a problem at the same exact time when the warranty had expired. It's probably been about good 3-4 months since the warranty's expired, if I remember correctly. But I'm using mine commercially. If you're using it residentially, you're going to get like 3 to 5 years warranty on it, so you won't have to worry about that. When you're using it commercially, you only get a year warranty on it, or 2-year warranty on it, or something like that. Long story short, I know my warranty is expired, so I'm doing the repair myself on the head. Now, they do sell the kits. They come with this nifty little circular pliers, which is pretty cool because I actually did not have a pair of these. These are kind of cheaply made, but hey, I mean, that's not something you're really commonly going to have unless you're doing this line of work anyways. And the kits look like this. They come with the bump feed head, an extra thing of line. They come with the inner components, the springs, I believe they come with the washers and nuts. If they don't, it's just a basic, very basic locking washer. You can put a 1/2-inch drive on that, which is what I'm using, 1/2-inch deep socket. Preferably to get them off, you want to use an impact wrench. I'm using a 12-volt Milwaukee, just because that's my go-to. Works very well. I believe these packages also come with a new fan, which is what this is. This portion right here is actually a fan for cooling the motor. I'm assuming when I get in there, I'm going to find out it's all blocked up with mud and grass debris. Hence, when I was out on the job site, this thing heated up so hot I couldn't even touch it. And this was after a full day's use. I'm talking 8-9 hours straight running trimmers. Had back-to-back jobs with it that was just for weed whacking and very tough, tall weeds and things. And it's not that I haven't done that before, it's just the first time I've had that issue, and that's because I haven't been maintaining it as I should be. I've just been doing like once a year maintenance on these things. And normally I would just have called and taken them in and got them fixed, but can't seem to find anywhere to do the repairs. Wants to honor the Ego warranty. And when I do call Ego about it, they want me to send them an email, and they send me an email with an RA, and then I have to call them back and give them the RA and go through that whole process. And most of the time I can't. It's not that I have an issue with that stuff. I just can't. I can't get back in touch with them. It takes forever. And then when I actually happen to call them, I usually don't hear back from them for another day or two, and at that point it is super early in the morning for me, and it doesn't help because I end up losing that last 2 to 3 hours of sleep that I can get before I head out on the job sites. And you just don't want to show up on your customer's property looking like you're already burned out because you had to go walk through customer service with your Ego customer service and try to get things squared away with them, where they can try to tell you how to fix a tool that you've already gone through the spiel of trying to fix. Now, this being said, this will not void your warranty if you try to put a new head on it yourself. The only thing that's going to void your warranty is if you were to mess with the motor or anything. And the reason I say that is because the instructions manual actually shows you how to pull all this stuff apart. I'd assume if it voided your warranty, it wouldn't be in there. They would just give you a contact number to call for service. But yeah, that being said, let's get into it, and we will get this going. Let me try to find some place to set this. My workshop's still a little bit messy. Haven't had a chance to clean it. Been busy in business and other things, personal matters. So just haven't had the chance to really get it cleaned up in here. But we're gonna attempt to find some way to set this up so you guys can watch the process of how we're doing this. And I think what I may end up doing is just setting it. We're just probably going to set it up here. I got a ton of Ego tools sitting in here. Like I said, I invest in my business and on this company, so to not have the proper, I don't know if you guys can see that, to not have the proper customer service that they advertise that they have. I just lost that there. Really sucks because I got a lot of money on this product, and it's like I said, it's not that the product's not a good product. It's just that customer service is not good, especially with pandemic going on. So let me see what you guys can see here. Yeah, you can see what I'm doing. All right. So walk you through the process of this. Circular pliers. These came with the trimmer. Put that up there and get it out of the way. I have not taken this apart before like this. The package for the new replacement bump head on this particular trimmer cost about $40 per bump head. And the only reason why I got it is strictly because I could not get customer service to fix their issues they were having with not getting back in touch with me, give me an RA or anything like that that I could use to get somebody to do the repairs on it. So I've already pulled this off. This is your main head. I can show you backwards how to do this. So basically it's this portion here, then that portion goes on, then that portion goes on. So what you do is pull that off, do it vice versa, pull your nut out of the center here. You're going to have a washer and a nut, so be careful when you pull it out. Pull the grain portion off, but spline in there. So just keep that in mind. And then this is the fan cover here. And unfortunately, I'm not seeing any debris build up. Just some dirt. So I'm hoping I don't have a bad motor going on with this thing. May end up having to get in a little deeper. Like I said, don't take this thing apart if you're worried about voiding a warranty. My warranty is already expired because of the COVID thing. They just didn't get back in touch with me, and yeah, everybody says that I should fight that, but I just really don't have time. When you're running a business, you don't get a lot of time to do things. So unfortunately, it's my loss, but that's just you just don't do that. If you're running a business, you try to be as loyal as you can be to your customers. I did not find that to be the winning attitude with Ego. They just nonchalantly kept blowing me off until I couldn't get service, and that's not okay. I don't believe in doing that as a company. So horrible customer service, excellent product. Alright, anyway. Attempt to find a screwdriver here if you want to give me just a minute. I'm kind of doing all this stuff live, but granted, I'm mechanic, so I don't know what I'm going to find when I get up underneath all this stuff. I'm just hoping I don't have any issues. But when you don't have a warranty and this is what you're using for your business, sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta bite the bullet on it. Especially if you're not wanting to pay a huge amount of money to a small engine repair team that is probably not going to be, regarding ego, any more experienced than you are in taking it apart. Because the electrical stuff is still so new, you're just not going to find people who really know how to service it except for those who actually built it. So, unless you're electrically inclined and you know what you're doing that way, you're not really going to find a lot of people out there that know how to do this stuff. I am just curious to see what this all looks like. That right there is a very, very chewed up washer. I believe that's what that is. Very chewed up. And this is supposed to be what weatherproofs it. That looks like grass. Yes, I know that. It may be grass, but it kind of has a rubbery consistency to it. And it's hard. So, yeah, that might be grass, I don't know. But if that's down in your fan head, you can bet underneath this is probably going to be loaded with more debris like that, which could be what you're having your issue with. Now this might actually be charred black like that from the smoke. See that? So it might have been the fact that that was overheating, and that might have been what the smoke was coming from. I don't know. That's why I'm trying to get in and figure this out. We shall see. Looks like we have a bearing system in there. That's nice. I'm going to move this just right here. And I want to get this out of the way. Basically, if you're going to go this far with it, you might as well clean it up. I might do that on video, I might not. I just figure since I'm already taking it all apart, I might as well get in there and try to clean up the rest of it. And try to get it running well again. Don't use any hard chemicals on this, unless it's really, really bad off. The instructions actually advises you not to use hard chemicals on it. For my line of work, I get a lot of nasty buildup in this thing, and oh, there we go. I get a lot of nasty buildup in this. What I actually used on it was a hard chemical. I used a concentrated 30-second cleaner but I did not actually spray it directly into this. I only hit the outside of it, which is fine. Just don't hit if you're going to use anything, use a very light cleaning solution in these areas. Don't hit it with anything heavy, or you could void your warranty or potentially break your tool that way if it's not already broken. By all means, though, if you don't have a warranty on that and you've got the money to take the risk, then go for it. Better to get it deeply cleaned than to have to worry about it not wanting to function properly because it's got a bad buildup in it. And these screws and washers and things, they are not all the same size. So if you have a little place to put them, you should do that, because you get these guys, they're flat heads, they're about that big. And then you get these guys that are circle, and they're bigger and longer. So don't want to get your screws mixed up. I may end up talking a little bit louder on these videos. I got some Ego batteries charging right now, and I'm not sure how well you guys can hear me. Probably can hear me just fine, but I don't have the newest, latest, greatest phone, so a couple years old, and I don't know how well the sound quality is going to come out on it for making videos, but we'll see. If anything, I'm still showing you guys step by step, so if you can't hear me very well, I'll just end up cutting sound out of it, and you guys can just watch me do this. Guys or girls or whoever's wanting to watch this. These are videos. I like to make videos strictly for educational purposes for this type of stuff. Oh, wow, that actually takes the whole motor up out of there, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Yeah. There we go. You guys can see all that nasty build up there. Granted, I think this is about as far as you're going to get the motor out without actually taking the back end button off here and working down into this section here. To take that apart and get the wiring undone on it. I'm not going to go that far today. I just don't want to deal with that. That's pretty much what's holding this thing in there, as you can see. But this also does give you the option of seeing seeing the motor that is actually in the head of this thing. So you can see the size of the motor that's in there. Pretty much, there's not a lot of space between the housing and the motor, which could cause it to overheat. It can be an issue. But you can see the size of the motor in there is a pretty decent size. And yeah, so you know that you got some power coming out of this thing. Now, from what I'm looking at, This actually looks magnetically controlled. And from what I'm seeing in here, I actually am missing a magnet. So that will actually throw off the rhythm of this thing and make for a motor that's not functioning properly. Alrighty, well, that's an issue that has to be dealt with in the future, but these are on a electromagnetic rotation, which is cool, by the way, but obviously this one's seen its time, and it's out of balance. I know. I'll see if I can show you guys that there. So you can see the magnets right here where they're coming together. And I'll spin it for you guys. You can see that they're not all in pattern as they should be. Some of them are too close together. I'll try to get my fingers out of the way there. So you can see those two are spaced too close together. And they're very dirty. And they don't line back up like they should line up like that, but they don't. And as you can see, I think that's my issue right there. That magnet that's in there is very crooked. It's actually popped out of place. You can't see it very well on the video. And the only way to get at that would be to figure out how to take this housing off right here without actually taking the whole motor off. So I'm not sure if I want to get into that or not. It's pretty much just a bearing right here, but excuse me, just a bearing right here. And I assume it would just push out after that. I just don't want to get into it. I'm going to see if I can work with it from this here, and if I can't, hey, at least I've gotten farther in these videos than anybody else that I've seen online, so I will let you guys know if I can get that magnet popped back in place. Probably not like this, because it's just a strong magnet. But anybody who's electrically inclined in motors that way is going to know that guy right there, is not sitting where he should be. He should be moved over here into this space a little bit. It's too close to the other magnet. Come on. And it's actually even popped up out of there. So you can see that it's slightly sticking up at an angle. And that would be one of my issues, I think, with this. And you can see I can move it. So that is an issue. And I guess I just pushed that one down in there. I'm not sure if that was a good idea or not, but definitely I don't think these things are supposed to move. I think they're supposed to be stationary into one spot. And they don't seem to want to cooperate. seem to be wanting to have issues. Yep, that's just getting harder the more it goes. So now you can see where that one's been messed up. Granted, like I said, don't do this if you can still exercise a warranty on this and you want to take a shot at it like that. I'm only doing this because the warranty on mine is expired already, and I need to get this tool fixed. I bought these when they were brand new. Cost me at least twice the amount what they're going for right now, and gotten a little bit more than a year's use out of it on a commercial use that is using these more than I use my mowers. I use these for everything, not just a weed whacker. I use them as my edger, basically my multi-tool, anything that I can use to reline, redesign, cut down. These are kind of my go-to because they have the power to do what they need to do. But obviously, you can see they are not. They're built well, but they're not built well. Those magnets should be on a stationary spinner, not able to freely move like that. At least that's what I would understand that would make the most sense for a rotational motor, would be to have them on the outer wall the same way that you would with like a magneto on a lawnmower. And they're not. They just look like they're just set down in there and placed in there, and they just expected them to hold into place. And that would be a failure on Ego's part. But this would be your portion of the brushless motor, hence the reason why they say brushless motor is because these magnets are actually what's generating the power. Unfortunately, when they're all smashed together like that, they're going to disrupt power flow. They're going to send charges at different rates back to the battery because they're spaced or they're not spaced properly. Some of them are jammed together and some of them are spaced apart. And yeah, so I don't necessarily know that this is my issue with this trimmer, but it definitely is an issue. And I don't want to get into trying to pull this whole motor assembly out, so I think what I'm going to do is try my best to clean it up. Probably get some rubbing alcohol and clean it up. These things don't have oil in them as far as on these parts, so that's not something you have to worry about. I think the only oil they're going to have, if they even have anything like that in them, is going to be actually